In the midst of the medieval East, a powerful kingdom rose from the forests and rivers of Eastern Europe, a land where Viking adventurers met Slavic traditions and orthodoxy would shape a civilization. This was Kievan Rus, a kingdom of ambition, blood, faith, and power. From the legendary Rurik to the visionary Yaroslav, today we explore the 10 greatest rulers of Kievan Rus, who forged empires, battled enemies, and left legacies that shaped Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus forever. Rurik, circa 862 to 879, the founder. Our journey begins with the man of legend, Rurik. A Varangian prince possibly from Scandinavia, Rurik was invited by Slavic tribes to bring order. Whether myth or man, he established Novgorod and laid the foundations of what would become Kievan Rus. His rule was short, but his legacy was eternal. Rurik's descendants ruled for centuries, their bloodline woven into the DNA of Eastern Europe. Oleg the Prophet, 879 to 912. The conqueror of Kiev, Rurik's relative, Oleg of Novgorod, succeeded him and changed everything. In 882, he seized Kiev, proclaiming it the new capital of his realm. Mother of all Rus's cities, Oleg's campaigns united the tribes and struck fear into the mighty Byzantines. He even nailed his shield to the gates of Constantinople in a daring display of strength. Oleg's rule was wise, his diplomacy sharp, and his nickname, the Prophet, reflected his mystique and foresight. Igor the Furny, 912 to 945, the fallen warrior. Oleg's successor, Igor, expanded the realm but fell victim to greed. His attempts to impose harsher tribute on the Drevlians ended in brutal rebellion. Tied to two bent trees and torn apart, Igor's death became a symbol of the danger of ruling with force alone. Yet from his fall rose one of the most legendary figures in Eastern history, his wife. Olga of Kiev, Regent 945 to 960. The vengeful saint, a woman of iron will and cunning intellect. Olga avenged her husband's death with terrifying precision. She burned cities, buried diplomats alive, and crushed the Drevlians. But her story didn't end in vengeance. Olga converted to Christianity and laid the spiritual foundation for the entire nation. Canonized as a saint, she was the first spark of Eastern Orthodoxy in Kievan Rus. Sviatoslav of Fern, 945 to 972, the warrior prince. Their son Sviatoslav was a pure warrior. He led campaigns across the Balkans, destroyed the Khazar Khaganate, and expanded Rus's influence further than ever before. With his fierce visage and relentless campaigns, Sviatoslav was feared and respected. But his death, ambushed by the Pechenegs, showed that even the mightiest warrior can fall to treachery. Vladimir the Great, 980 to 1015. The Christianizer Sviatoslav's son, Vladimir, brought a revolution, not through war but through faith. After consolidating power in a brutal civil war, Vladimir made a decision that would change history. He adopted Christianity from Byzantium in 988 and baptized his people in the Dnieper River. This wasn't just a religious shift, it was geopolitical. Kievan Rus entered the Christian world, aligning with the Eastern Roman Empire and shaping the identity of the region for centuries. Yaroslav the Wise, 1019 to 1054. The lawgiver under Yaroslav, Kievan Rus reached its golden age. He issued the first legal code, built grand cathedrals, and turned Kiev into a beacon of culture and learning. Marrying his daughters to European royalty, Yaroslav connected Rus to the great courts of France, Norway, and Hungary. His reign was the height of peace, law, and splendor, a legacy of wisdom unmatched. Vladimir II Monomach, 1113 to 1225. The unifier. After decades of chaos and princely rivalries, Vladimir Monomach emerged as a savior, A warrior, diplomat, and reformer, he quelled rebellions, reformed the law, and restored central power. His Instruction to My Children stands as a moral and political guidebook for medieval rulers. His reign was a final bright spark before the long decline of Kievan Rus. Mstislav the Great, 1125 to 1132, the last strong prince. Mstislav was the last ruler to hold the vast Rus lands together. Educated, cultured, and brave, he continued his father Monomach's mission. But after his death, the realm fragmented. Civil wars, regional princes, and foreign threats began to tear the kingdom apart. Mstislav's reign was the end of unity, and his death marked the beginning of the end. Daniel of Galicia, circa 1201 to 1264. The Western Hope. Though Kievan Rus fractured, Daniel of Galicia rose in the west as a beacon of resilience. A descendant of the Rurik dynasty, he resisted Mongol domination, built alliances with the papacy, and was crowned king by a papal envoy in 1253, the only prince of Rus to be crowned in the Western tradition. He tried to balance East and West, sword and scepter, and his reign was a final attempt to preserve the Rus spirit in a changing world. From the icy rivers of Novgorod to the golden domes of Kiev, the kings and princes of Kievan Rus carved a powerful legacy. They faced Vikings, Khazars, Byzantines, and Mongols. They ruled with sword, law, and faith. Their kingdom would crumble, but its soul lived on. In the Orthodox Church, in Slavic cultures, in the rise of Russia and Ukraine. These 10 rulers were more than monarchs. They were founders, saints, warriors, and visionaries. Their echoes still whisper through the forests, rivers, and cathedrals of Eastern Europe, reminding us of a kingdom that once stood tall at the crossroads of East and West.